Let's talk about this morning. The PC police are at it again because there's Wiccans and pagans out there, right? Probably, I don't know if they make up a large percentage of the population.
I do. They don't.
They don't?
No.
They don't.
No, they don't.
And at the
there are more Zoroastrians here than there are Wiccans.
But apparently maybe at the University of Missouri they make up such an exorbitant part of their population at the University of Missouri that they need to have all of their holidays now recognized.
And they have a ton of holidays. This is now the bad side of Wiccanism is it's obviously a form of witchcraft, but the upside is you get a ton of holidays. 20% of all school holidays, as described by the University of Missouri, are Wiccan holidays. 20% of all.
Well, and this is a statement from the University of Missouri. This is why they say they're doing this. The information about the Wiccan and pagan holidays has been in the guide since last fall. Keep in mind, this is not intended just for faculty. This is an informational guide for anyone across campus. And again, that's from the University of Missouri.
And it's interesting, we had Tammy Bruce on the show earlier this morning, and this, she says, probably wouldn't happen in any other country. Listen.
I think that this is, again, not about elevating anyone else. It's about pagans and Wiccans being used for a political agenda to downgrade what's important to a majority of Americans. I think that this is an anti-tradition action. I think pagans and Wiccans should be very angry about being used by the establishment. And I think that there should be a backlash of, look, the tradition in this country is what allows people to be pagans and Wiccans and to enjoy their lives freely. Good luck doing that in any other country.
Right, and somehow if you're a Christian in this country, too, that you can't say Merry Christmas to somebody or else you're trying to push your Christian faith on other people.
Right, but you get 20 holidays now if you're a Wiccan at, I mean, I guess that's the one to go with, right? I mean, that's certainly the one. If you're going to pick one, go the one with the most holidays.
Except any religion whose most sacred day is Halloween, I just can't take seriously. I mean, call me a bigot. And I'm not, you know, not offering an editorial against Wiccanism.
Well, that would be more the pagan side of it, right? Would be Halloween.
How many Wiccans can name every Wiccan holiday? Or 50% of Wiccan holidays?
I don't know a single Wiccan.
I will say this, because, you know, we're journalists, and I have covered this. I actually went because there was some backlash a number of years ago against Wiccans, and I remember I had to do a story, and I went and interviewed a number of Wiccans, and they say, look, we are the most peaceful individuals. We don't practice crazy things. We're just of the earth. We believe in...
I think that's right. Every Wiccan I've ever known is either a compulsive Dungeons and Dragons player or is a middle-aged, twice-divorced older woman living in a rural area who works as a midwife.
And likes a lot of incense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's all right. Let us know if you've met any Wiccans out there. Let us know. Friends at foxnews.com.
Is it time to call the PC police? The University of Missouri's religious guide says no exams ought to be scheduled on Wiccan and pagan holidays. That puts those days on par with Christmas and Hanukkah. In fact, 20% of the holidays in their guide are Wiccan holidays. Well, here to weigh in is Tammy Bruce. She's a talk radio show host, of course, and a Fox News contributor. Tammy, how many Wiccans are there? Or is that a big religion?
Not many. Maybe you and I should go for it, though, because we get a heck of a lot more days off, wouldn't we?
We would.
Suddenly looks appealing.
20% of the holidays listed at the University of Missouri Holiday Guide are Wiccan. What is going on here? That seems bizarre.
Well, you know, it does. I'll tell you, look, I'm a big fan of people living lives that best suit them. And I don't know any Wiccans. I think maybe on a really bad day I might turn into one. I'm not sure. But you know what I think this is? It's actually, I think, people who are not Christians, you know, the majority, you're looking at Christians and Jews and Muslims, and this is a majority of Americans, and certainly a majority of Americans are Christian at over, well, close to 80% at this point. But the fact is, I think this is less than, it's less about elevating other religions and other individuals, and it's more about diluting the dynamic about what's important in people's lives. And look, I think if you're a Wiccan or a pagan, Tucker, you're really anti-establishment. I don't think you need the establishment to recognize you,
well, that's
right?
A really
we already
good
know
point.
that.
Well, I'd like to do a poll on who could name 8 Wiccan holidays. I mean, I doubt your average Wiccan could.
Look, Halloween is the new year, so I guess now you get Halloween off over there at the University of Missouri. So that, and then you've got the Festival of Pan, and you've got the solstices and the equinox, and there's like 10 of them. They outnumber most of the other religions, actual religions. And I think that there's ways people can take days off for their special days. I think though that you're going to be looked at kind of funny if you insist that you need Halloween off. I do think it's insulting to if you're a Wiccan or a pagan. And besides, if you're an atheist or even a pagan, isn't every day a holiday? If you're celebrating nature, that's an everyday experience.
Only a country that had been too rich for too long could be this frivolous and silly. Here's the statement from the school. The information about the Wiccan and pagan holidays, the statement says, has been in the guide since last fall. Keep in mind, this is not intended just for faculty. This is an informational guide for anyone across campus. So just letting you know, they are saying.
Letting you know which days you can take. Look,
so they hate Orthodox Christianity. That's kind of what this comes down to.
Well, I think that there is a rejection of tradition. I think that this is, again, not about elevating anyone else. It's about pagans and Wiccans being used for a political agenda to downgrade what's important to a majority of Americans. I think that this is an anti-tradition action. I think pagans and Wiccans should be very angry about being used by the establishment. And I think that there should be a backlash of, look, the tradition in this country is what allows people to be pagans and Wiccans and to enjoy their lives freely. Good luck doing that in any other country.
Good luck. Yeah, you wouldn't want to see the Wiccans when they're angry. Tammy Bruce, thanks very much.
No.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.